Alrighty. Sorry for that long wait. I was before stream, I had to wash my car and fix a couple little minor things. It took a little longer than I expected. Sorry for the long wait. And on top of that, I also had to make sure all my audio sources were fixed again because I accidentally deleted the music audio device, vtuber. Why are you watching the vtuber? If you keep calling me a vtuber, why are you here then? I'm a vtuber, Ryoshu. What are you trying to get here? Also, thank you for the 7. Yeah, also you're on a 7 stream streak. I don't think calling someone a vtuber works for you. That also says a lot about you, I think. But yes, we're finally back. We finally are on chapter 34, The Night in the Backstreets. Hopefully we might be able to finish this today. The Distortion Detective. And I'm going to be gone next week, but then the week after we might be able to start on Leviathan, which I think will be great. So I have been enjoying these reading streams. They've been a blast. Even though I have a creature yelling at me in the chat, looks at Lana. But yes. Let us begin. Chapter 34, The Night in the Backstreets, and no one will open the door for us. God, I love the sweeper so much. I'm so happy we're getting their rerun. Why am I here? But no, I was making a joke about you liking feet. I wasn't kicking you out, Lana, spray bottle. You are an absolute brat. You can stay, pat. I'm just making a joke that you are not selling. You're selling yourself too. Is that a heart? Is that some... Weird suspicion that heart is a butt, you creature. Yes, but... Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked yelling at Lana. The sweepers come in 3 waves. 3 waves are all we had to endure. Ezra? Vespa? Think you can make it through? I actually used all my strength fighting the human thunderbolt just before. Ezra looked at me with an awkward smile. I reluctantly turned my gaze to Vespa. Dr. Moses, you're completely incapable of combat, and it seems Miss Ezra can barely protect herself. So the conclusion? Impossible. We'd be able to survive 2 waves, I suppose. Yuria's workshop might have been a perfect hiding spot, but she's not up when we need it. I put my smoky pipe in my mouth. Gross noises could be heard from a distance. The sound of the cleaners of the street. Fierce fights and contemptible murders are a common occurrence in the back street. All of it is wiped clean by the morning. It's thanks to them, the sweepers clean the back streets, which means it's safe outside the back streets. I tap my prosthetic arm. Lana, did you make another alt account? I swear to God, this is the same. Lana, I swear to God, if you just made it, this is another alt account to call me a freak. But welcome on, Ishi. If that's not you, welcome on in, Ishmael. Ishmael Fish. And the freak here is Lana, not me. Huh? Are you saying that's not actually you? You have made so many alts that just throw a random insult at me, so it's hard to tell what... But Ishmael, if you're a new viewer, welcome on in. We're reading Distortion Detective, and Lana over here has been insulting me. She is the freak here, if anything. Hanijun, the prosthetic arm, flashed for a second. Working hard day and night, aren't you, Doctor? Sorry to disturb your sound sleep. Examining your location. You're in the back streets at this time of night? I'll get to the point. Uchak, can you call them here? If it's to stop the sweepers, I doubt there'll be any help by the time they arrive. Then, let me ask about the fallen nest. Is the border between the back streets and the nest area still up? I'm sure a war veteran such as yourself knows better than I do. What's the shortest route? 5 kilometers west, to the west as the crow flies. And the call. The way out of this situation is simple. We've got to get into a nest. A ruined nest. Is it still a nest? Sweepers only clean the back streets. We'll travel in a straight line, break any walls in the way, and cut down any nuisance. What about the car? Vespa asked in a low tone. We'll leave it here until the night passes. It will be fine as long as we aren't in the van. Won't they treat the distortion as human? Don't ask me what they think. There is no other option. Even if we were to lose the 2 distortion we've retrieved, saving our lives comes first. We don't have time. Ezra! Ezra takes out our gauntlets and hammer, preparing to make way. When it comes to destruction for survival, she should be suited for the job, better suited for the job than Vespa. Junior, give the lift! Give the detective a lift! Ezra yelled. Vespa put me under the arm. As unpleasant as it is, I suppose it's for the best. Here we go, Detective and Junior! Vespa drew his sword with his other arm. To the west, a brick wall stands in the way. We'll breach this first. Ezra put her fist through the wall. It crumbled with ease. And there's a 2-story house standing right in front of it. Just as she tries to break this wall, Vespa stops her. Also, no, Otis is still my YouTube? Well then, welcome on Ishii. Very funny first introduction. But I am not a freak. Foottuber is a lie. That is something that has been slandered on my name by Wana and others. I'm normal, I swear. Someone once said they found me in the search for Foottuber, and that has become my legacy for a while. Also, I'm gonna turn down my music a little bit. That's just a bit loud. And it's just become a little slanderous joke. And then Wana is the actual. My chat is the crazy ones. I promise. I'm normal. I almost feel normal. Residential areas mustn't be destroyed during the night in the back streets. It's a taboo. I hadn't thought of the residential area. All of our problems could be solved if we can enter this house, but we need permission from the owner of the house first. It's not just a taboo in the nest. It's a taboo of the city. That means violating it won't simply end with a taboo hunter or 2 chasing us. The night in the back street is a completely lawless hour. There's one exception among this, which remains safe. The residential area. Inviolable territory. The head of the city doesn't allow the sanctuary to collapse, and no one will open the door for us. Detective, what should we do? We shan't dare to commit a taboo that not even the fingers violate. I can hear 3 to 4 people sobbing inside the house. A group of strangers breaking walls and standing before their home would surely be a terrifying sight for them. The sound grew closer, and the sweepers showed up from the mist. The sweepers seep into the corners of the alleys like water flowing over a toy village. They go anywhere a path is open. Jeez, they're persistent and resilient. They aren't afraid to die. They swarm their target and cling to them until they've been cleaned off the street. If a sweeper has died, they clean that corpse as well and carry on. Their orange hooks inject whoever they stab with a strange fuel. That mysterious fuel liquefies the victim. The melted remains are then recycled into fuel. Clumps of liquid. That's what the sweepers are. Who knows what goes on in their minds? It's frankly strange that the head even considers those beings to be humans. I'm not even sure if they're capable of thinking normally. And you're bringing up the... Ugh, God, do not bring up the Sans back shot as an example of when I was talking about my chat being the freak, Slana. Also, welcome on, Kant. Welcome on in, Kanta. And you're a very good bunny, pat, 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 pat. I'm hoping you're having a good day so far. Detective, I'll get ready for battle. Put me down, please. Vespa set me on the ground. I bit my smoking pipe. The yard of a residence. Sweeper squeezed through the destroyed wall. While this wasn't our intention, we've put ourselves in an advantage spot for fending off multiple foes. Vespa cuts down the sweepers, creeping on us one by one. Ezra uses her fist and hammer. Her accelerated fist strikes the sweeper in the head, and liquid spouts from the smashed noggin. The same liquid spills from the torso of a sweeper cut in half by Vespa, and the liquid is absorbed into the bodies of the sweepers that follow. Simply by stepping on the pool of liquid. 2, 5, 10, 23. Vespa's blade is losing its edge, and Ezra's fists are getting slower. The sweepers must be sliced into 2 or blown up in a single hit. They'll recover from wounds left by dull swords and lethargic fists by absorbing liquid from the carcasses of their fallen brethren. I can only trust those 2 will handle this. I fucking love the lore we're actually getting of sweepers. And honestly, because, yeah, no, like, even, like, through the gameplay and, like, Rona, not a lot of this was communicated well, you know? They didn't really describe the sweepers as, like, actually, like, absorbing the fuel of their leftovers. Honestly, I think it would have been cool if, like, that was actually a mechanic where, like, I guess we kind of got that with the crabs. You know, actually, funny enough, the crabs from N-Corp, or not N-Corp, but, H? I think it was H. Ishii's Kanto, funny enough, actually had that mechanic where like the low HP ones would actually be eaten by the other ones and heal them. It would have been cool to see that a bit more in actual games, but like I actually love the idea of this just like unending horde that basically if you don't kill them instantly, they will just heal from their wounds and from like just the ones around them. That really does like kind of show the endless waves a bit more than what we've gotten in like the games. I do wish that we got to see more of that in the games, but you know, just from like the actual idea of them, it's a lot more Eldritch kind of thing, like this unstoppable horde that just like heals from themselves. Because it's like that kind of makes it sound like there's no true way to really wipe them out unless you kill them all at once, kind of thing. It sounds like a plague. But I imagine the head, of course, being the head, has some magical doohickey just to insta-kill them. The first wave has died down. The time is 3:40. And the second wave will strike in about 10 minutes. We shouldn't stay here. We need to continue on to the west. However, we couldn't even make 100 meters. I know this won't work, but I have to give it a shot anyway. I knocked on the door of a resident. My name is Moses, and I'm a grade 5 fixer from 7 Association. Could you please open the door? We just need a place to rest for a short while. There's 3 of us, including myself. The sound of a person weeping came from inside. We'll just take shelter in the morning. We could pay you Oh, we'll just take shelter until the morning. We could pay you too. Ezra yelled urgently. We want to live. Please leave us alone. Detective, I guess it's not gonna work, Ezra said in a discouraged tone. They're too frightened to be reasoned with. Thus, we have no choice to start running again. What will you do now? We have to move to the west. Vespa picked me up again and ran westward, with Ezra following right behind. Let's jump over or go around the obstacles we encounter from now on. We can't afford to check if every wall in front of us is a part of the residential area in this thick mist. This is going to take more time. Vespa and Ezra may be fast, but traveling 5 kilometers in 10 minutes will be a difficult task in their current state. Yeah, what? I think... so that's about... roughly 2.5... or a little less than like 2.5 miles in 10 minutes. Actually, that's not... well, that's current state. Fair enough. But like, actually, I knew like kids who could run a 6-minute mile. So like in this kind of world, I wouldn't imagine it would be too hard, but I guess they are absolutely exhausted. Even their augmentations wouldn't be able to like completely carry them through this nonsense. But like knowing they could still fight off hordes of enemies, I'll take the writer's word for it. Probably would make more sense to make it 10, honestly, knowing that like we're seeing these guys who are able to jump like all the way up to like the 20th floor. And they're able to jump over the buildings, you know? But yeah. We'll accept it. Because, like, we got like two crazy superhumans. We crossed walls and ran through narrow passages in the back streets. This Vespa kid is insanely quick, I must say. He sprints like a beast while searching for open paths. Ezra isn't following behind. Either. 3:47. 3 minutes remain. Or not. Time is up. Ezra, Vespa. Sweepers came in swarms from both ends of the long alleyway. I tapped the arm. Honey-jun. Yes, doctor. Does this arm have any combat functionalities? No. Then what was your boastful statement of this arm being a one of a kind and expensive about? Because there really is no other prosthetic arm like it. It's equipped with technology that allows us to locate you wherever you are, not to mention its durability. I hung up. Swarms of sweepers throng Ezra and Vespa. The two are slowly being pushed back. It's like stopping a leaking dam with just a palm. The water is bound to spill sooner or later. To face the sweepers right after dealing with the human thunderbolt army of corpses. Talk about a streak of misfortune. Detective, I'll try to keep him at bay. I won't let any of them reach you. Right now, I don't have the strength to take on a single sweeper. Ezra and Vespa will survive somehow. I'm completely dead weight this time. I placed my smoking pipe in my mouth. Behind me is the door of a building in the residential area of the back streets. If we broke this door and went inside, we might be able to survive the night. However, breaking a taboo of the city is on a completely different level to breaking a taboo of the nest. The most one can do is delay their inevitable death. Unparalleled force will pursue us. Death comes onto one someday. Perhaps the reason I live is to settle what I started until that moment comes. That's what makes me want to stay alive. I let out a red breath. Dr. Moses, don't get any ideas. A yellow harpoon knocked the smoking pipe out of my hand. I told you that I could stop the first 2 waves. Vespa frowned at me, his body covered in injuries. I picked up my pipe and knocked on the door behind me. This is the most I can do while the 2 act as human shields. I'm Moses, a grade 5 fixer from 7 Association. If you let us take shelter here for a short while, we will give you generous compensation. No response again. That either means no one is in this house, or they're rejecting us. Crunk. The old steel door opened with a metallic creak. Ezra, Vespa, get in here right now! I shouted at the 2. "'Kay, detective!" Ezra and Vespa slowly retreated to the door as they take down the sweepers in front of them. After they entered through the steel door, I quickly shut it. We're safe now. What a relief. Thank you for your kindness. Moses from the 7 Association, wasn't? I'd like to make a deal. A golden insignia. This is a symbol that distinguishes the fingers. These dark red coats. They're the thumb. I turned to Vespa immediately and I shook my head. Whatever story that kid has, this is definitely not the time. Around 20 people in red coats are looking at us. Let me introduce myself. I'm Isabella, Capo of the Thumb. She ground her cigar into an ashtray and extended her arm for a handshake. I'm a grade 5 fixer. I have to submit to the authority of a capo. I lowered my head and grasped her hand without making eye contact. Strange things have been occurring in this nest, as you can tell. We couldn't acquire any proper info because of the fog, yet now I meet a big fixer from the 7 Association. I'm such a lucky gal. Isabella handed me a glass of liquor. I poured the drink down my throat. I've been parched for a while. What are the grades of your friends next to you? This child here is Ezra, a grade 3 fixer from the 7 Association, and I'd rather not disclose Vespa's real name and grade. Introducing him as a grade 3 like Ezra should be appropriate. Grade 1 fixer, Vespa. No affiliation. Vespa uttered, running his hand through his blood-soaked hair. I placed a hand on my forehead. A grade 1 fixer is in the same class as a capo. Grade 1 fixer? You wouldn't be lying by any chance. Vespa put his hand in his inside pocket of his coat. The 20 thumb goons immediately pointed their matchlock rifles at us in unison. Isabella made a gesture to help them. Then Vespa took out his fixer license and tossed it in front of her. It's without a doubt a legitimate fixer license issued by the Hana Association. It's a pleasure to greet such a valuable guest. Please feel free to rest up here for a while. Let's talk more when the sun comes up. As soon as she stopped speaking, the goons withdrew their guns. They're quick to oh god, I just fucked up. They're quick to change their attitude when one discloses their grade. That's what the thumb is. A gang of mobsters obsessed with class and authority. Provide them with blankets and pillows, and show them to a room where they rest. A couple of syndicate members guided us. This is a small house with a floor space of 70 square meters. There's no way the Thumb would use this kind of residence as a base of operations. The Thumb soldatos stopped at the door, and Vespa a courteous nod. That's a gesture of asking permission from a superior to speak. Vespa returned a nod, apathetically. The room is a bit messy right now, so we'll clean it up for you. The syndicate members opened the door. Ezra frowned when she saw what was in the room. 3 bodies of varying size were on the floor. They didn't even fire their guns. They merely used the butt stocks to snuff them out. They occupied a backstreet's residence before the night came. The Thumb can get away with it. Vespa put his hand on the handle of his sword. I glared at Vespa, shaking my head. Vespa glared back at me with sharp eyes, and then he took his hand off the blade. For the first time, I guess Vespa's at least finally learning to not piss off a finger, especially while they're actively in a residential. I think the only, you know what? He probably is only listening because it's a residential area in the nighttime. Bro would actually, you know, but also Vespa would start a fight with the head out of this just by itself, honestly. But yeah, that's the Thumb for you. They are absolute pieces of garbage. Thank you for the head pat, Arrow. How are you doing today? Also, by the way, Arrow, I think, by the way, at the start of the stream, I did almost crash again, but it actually didn't full crash, so I think you might have fixed it. So you might honestly have stopped the stream from, like, the way it gets overloaded and crashes, but it just kind of drops a lot in frames when it happens. So, Arrow, you may have fixed the problem completely, so I won't, like, completely full crash. I'll probably have, like, moments of, like, frame dropping, but I think I might not crash anymore, so thank you for helping me fix that. I mean, hey, better than crash. Oh, yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm saying, so... Ooh, excuse me. Thank you so much for helping me with that variable thing. Made my life a whole lot easier, to say the least. And then chapter 35, this territory. The respite of this room didn't feel like quite like a true respite. No problem for me with internet BS. We are united in horrible internet, Arrow. But otherwise you murder me. Otherwise you jump me, but when we have bad internet, we work together. This respite of this room didn't quite feel like a true respite. Waking up in a room that feels like an average living space is almost reminiscent of my ordinary life. Though the smell of blood permeating about reminds me of where I am now. Ezra is still sound asleep next to me, snoring away. On the other hand, Vespa is sitting on the floor and gazing at the door, clutching his blade in his arms. I'm not sure if he slept at all. Have you gotten any sleep? I had enough rest that you won't have to worry about my condition. That's good to hear. Someone thumped on the door. Their silence suggests that they're a soldato, a class below the capo. Speak. This is Rami, a thumb soldato. I'm here to check if you have woken up. I turned to Vespa. A grade 5 fixer such as myself is not allowed to mention a capo's name. Is Capo Isabella's asking to see us? Vespa spoke on my behalf. Yes, she wishes to talk with you over a simple breakfast. We'll be there soon. It's fortunate to have Vespa with me. He'll make our negotiation with the thumb smoother. I shook Ezra to wake her up. Detective! I can go for another helping. What a silly thing to say in one's sleep. Speak for yourself, I got that city internet now. Fiber optic, baby. Well, thanks. Thanks for having to show off that you actually get nice internet now while I'm still suffering. I'm surprised to see you reading mystery. I figured you'd read gay fanfiction or some shit. Well, that's crazy. It's also not quite a mystery, I would say. More drama, I guess. Yeah, I would say drama. A little bit of action, too. I would say, like, drama action. A little bit of mystery, I guess, because, like, you know, detective, but, like, I wouldn't say it's quite actually, like, a mystery. There's, like, some mystery elements, but not quite enough for me to call it a mystery. There's aspects of it, but a lot more about drama than anything else. Like, you've seen Ruina and Limbus Company, where it's very much more of character dramas than actual, like, what they kind of lead into more than anything. When I went out to the living room, plates of bacon and eggs sunny side up were set on the table for 4, and the thumb capo, Isabella, sits at it. Also, what language is this in? It's English. It's in English, but it has been localized from Korea. Same as Ruina and Limbus Company. It's made by the same. It's made by PM basically. Just this case, it is just a full-on book or web novel technically. I don't think they actually published it as a full-on book. So yeah, just the web novel, but it's very good. I would recommend it. Though I don't think you're that interested in the PM universe, so I don't know. I think it's a pretty good read by itself, honestly. Yeah, I think it basically explains itself more than anything. I think that's one thing PM's always been really good at, is they do fully explain everything, so, like, you're not completely, like, lost, where you're like, what the hell are they talking about right now? That's one thing I like about... That's what I like very much about PM, is, like, you can pretty much jump in at any point. You won't miss too much. I always recommend you read everything, but it's very much you don't have to. It's also, I think, only about 40 chapters, Arrow, so it's not too long of a read. When I went up to the living room, plates of bacon and eggs sunny side up were set on a table for 4, and the thumb capo. Isabella sits at it. Please, take a seat, Vespa and company, Isabella said to him, paying no attention to Ezra or I. We sat as we were told. Vespa, the grade 1 fixer and a couple of 7 association fixers. What is your business here? Could you be participating in the struggle to take over L Corp's nest like many others? Vespa grimaced as he speared a strip of bacon with a fork, seemingly annoyed. Then he looked right at Isabella. I work for Dr. Moses and the person here next to me. I devolve all my authority and power to Dr. Moses as of this moment. He isn't even trying to hide his irritation. As you wish. I must say, it's interesting that you know about the transfer of authority the thumb uses internally. Grade 1 fixers are truly in another league. Isabella gave her answer as she lit a cigarette in her mouth. Or perhaps you're an affiliate of the thumb. Puffing out cigar smoke towards Vespa, Isabella narrowed her eyes. He glared at her, not budging an inch. Let's not get off topic. I would like it if we could speak on equal terms. Ezra, clean the table, will you? I don't think we have time for a full meal. Okay. Ezra answered, hurriedly shoving bacon in her mouth. My brain is very neutral on it at the moment. I've been hyperfixating on Fate, Soul Eater, and Avatar lately. Fair enough, especially with the new Avatar movie. And also Fire Force directly ending with Soul Eater, basically. Though I think that's been basically confirmed for a while. Or, well, not fully confirmed, but basically heavy-handedly going, yeah, it is. Though now we actually got, like, to see all, like, the baby forms of all the main characters from Soul Eater, which is funny. I remember seeing that going around all the time. The little, like, the baby mock-up, for example. Baby Death. I will say, I should probably look at Soul Eater again. I need to actually read the manga, because I know, like, the anime kind of, like, just kind of jumps off and, like, disappears on its own thread at a certain point. While Ezra and the thumb members were clearing the dishes from the table, I placed my smoking pipe between my lips. It's time to negotiate a deal. I'm bargaining with the thumb. One of the fingers. No amount of ridiculousness should be surprising coming from them. Well then, Miss Moses, grade 5 fixer the 7 Association. Let us speak on equal terms. Gladly. The thumb has the strong organization power among the fingers. It controls a legion of subsidiary syndicates, and the members of the thumb itself are not rallied for trivial matters. However, soldados and even a capo being at the site must mean they're unable to rely on their subsidiaries. I imagine it has something to do with the fog covering this nest. The syndicate's organizational capability wouldn't be as effective in the mist that clouds one's cognition. They're likely desperate in their own rights in their attempt to make use of us. I'm about to make a deal. I hope you are prepared. That's right. It's hard to refuse a deal offered by the thumb on equal standing. I could politely decline if given enough justification. But they provided us with shelter to survive the sweepers. We're indebted to them. I don't see any justification that could lift this debt. Let's hear the details of your offer. I bit the pipe and went out of breath. Miss Moses, first, I would want you to give me an introduction of yourself and your colleagues. Although it won't change the outline of this offer, I might be able to take it into consideration. Isabella filled a glass in front of her with liquor. I'm working as the Distortion Detective, or so I call it. These 2 fellows are my assistant who help me with the job. Isabella's brow twitched. Perhaps the word distortion caught her attention. That's got to be the case. Several sightings of distortions are apparently being reported in Elcorp's nest. There's no reason for me to hide my profession. Rather, they'll be motivated to hand over information about the cases of distortions that have emerged here. If this prediction misses the mark, though, that would only mean they're only interested in using us as another pawn for their strife. I don't know why I keep accidentally scrolling up today. So, you're a detective. It's impressive that you're a grade 3 and a grade 1 fixer as your assistants. I'll contact the headquarters to check the facts right away if I could, but I cannot reach the outside at this moment. So, I will have to trust your words on this. Isabel guzzled down her drink. It wasn't the mention of distortions that she reacted to, unlike my expectation. I won't pry into it further. There will be bloodshed in Elcorp's Nest in the near future. We of the Thumb and our subsidiary syndicates are preparing for this fight. Are you asking the office of the Distortion Detective to join your forces as part of the deal? No, we aren't looking for soldiers to fight alongside us in an all-out war, no. The workshop in this nest, which were supposed to provide the Thumb with musket ammunition, have all disappeared. There was a spark in Ezra's eyes. It's only natural that bringing up workshops would draw her interest. She's very autistic. The workshops that supply their goods to the Thumb must be especially intriguing, since it's difficult to normally get in touch with them. And you want us to find their whereabouts. I held my pipe between my lips. Isabel nodded. As if this is your offer, what do you promise to give us in return? Is there anything you want? I need information. Information regarding the distortions. The Thumb will serve as a reliable network. We will need information on the distortion phenomenon occurring in this nest, and we need lots of it. You want us to regularly update you on the news concerning them, is that correct? Isabel scanned me, Vespa, and Ezra with her eyes. Sadly, we're isolated at this moment. It's not an easy job to get our comms to work or specify our location in this fog. That means you have no intel you can give us at the moment? For now, no. However, I'll ask the other capos when I contact the headquarters later. I can collect the intel and hand it over to you then. How does that sound? I blew out smoke. Our dialogue was resolved smoothly thanks to Vespa's presence, and she didn't ask too much of us for saving our lives. Isabella offered her hand to shake on it. Tell me more about the case of lost ammunition and the location of the workshop. I shook her hand. Yeah, it was confirmed. I read the Firefox manga. Hell yeah! I will say it's very funny that they actually connected those two. I guess yeah, the two manga. There is no Procyon fanfiction. That is never gonna happen. I'm sorry, lass. And I'm not putting pipes in my mouth. That's the characters, not me. Don't be putting their pipes in my mouth. Okay, I realize how that could sound really bad. It's not what you think it is. Oh my god. The street is brighter than it was at night, although the scenery is still rather dim and blurry thanks to the fog. We're headed in the general direction of the workshop Bella told us about. Ezra walks with a spring in her step, possibly because she knows she's elated for the chance to see a workshop partnered with the Thumb. Vespa follows us, wearing a frown. That kid certainly seems to have a deeply ill-fated relationship with the Thumb, and for reasons I'm not yet aware. Ezra, do you know much about the workshops the Thumbs get service from? Yep, of course! Ezra's expression was that of someone begging to be asked more questions. It's true that I know little about the Thumb beyond common knowledge. There has been a particular lack of friction with the Syndicate while going about the job in general. Also, I will say, I love how Ezra is just an absolute golden retriever. She's absolutely lovely. Candace, how you read that as Firefox? You're very furry-pilled. What do you... I'm literally using Firefox. What do you mean? Oh, did I say Firefox instead of Fire Force? Oh, yeah. That's the browser I use, so I think my brain auto-corrected. Sorry. Bleh. Eto. Bleh. I'm a little oopid, alright? Just a wee bit, alright? So, Ezra, could you brief us on what you know? As you're already aware, the Thumb uses muskets, right? And the Thumb uses a huge variety of bullets. They pick the right ones for the situation every time. I'm guessing those bullets are quite pricey. Oh, it's no joke. It's like they throw money at their workshops when a purge happens. Vespa's brow furrowed upon hearing the word purge. He must have a troubled past concerning the Thumb's purge. They don't waste their ammo on trivial stuff, though. In fact, the Thumb's firearms are terrific weapons even without the bullets. The buttstocks perform better than your average blunt instruments. It's made with the hardest wood available in the city. Ezra tirelessly goes on with her passionate speech.
It might look simple at a glance, but it contains the technology of like several workshops. Acceleration and mass manipulation are a given. They can purge anybody they want for a reason. Their buttsuck is designed to be a good tool for bashing anyone's jaw too.
Is it so entertaining? Vespa murmured. It would seem all this talk of the thumb provoked him.
Huh? Well, yeah, talking about workshops is always fun.
Have you been struck by the buttstock yourself? Vespa gave Ezra a glare. His eyes are very much like those I saw plenty of times throughout my life. Ezra's expression changed in the blink of an eye, the same expression she wore during the war.
What are those eyes?
Miss Ezra, I want you to refrain from talking about such things while I'm around, lest I cut your tongue off. Vespa grabbed the hilt of his sword at his side.
Don't you give me that look in front of the detective.
Ezra spoke in a glacial voice. I placed a hand on my forehead. These kids are comparable to ticking time bombs.
The detective and I have gone through a war. It was a hellish time, worse than anything you've ever experienced.
A flash of yellow danced in the air. What do you know about me? Vespa's sword was drawn before I noticed.
I don't give a damn about that. Just don't evoke the memories of war for the detective. For us, with those eyes.
Vestra doesn't move a muscle. How could you talk about killing people so gleefully when you suffered a war? I bit my smoking pipe.
This is the only way I know to cope. Seek joy and don't be so serious.
Ezra's blonde hair gradually turns white. She gripped Vespa's neck with her hand at a speed my eyes couldn't follow. Vespa grabbed her neck in retaliation. Both of them are nothing short of killing machines. Ezra, stop. She put her arm down at my word. Her eyes are still cold.
I apologize. I was careless.
I puffed out a curl of smoke. Vespa released his grip on Ezra's neck. Vespa, we're in the process of overcoming our past events in our own ways. I'm sure you are overcoming something of your own as well. We're coworkers who have to band together, whether you like it or not. So I want us all to be considerate of each other. Understood?
Got it!
Ezra returned to her usual self and gave a cheerful reply.
Sorry, Junior. My bad.
You're insane. Vespa closed his eyes and sheathed his blade.
When the Oh my god, oh god, I love Vespa. I feel so bad that her cheery side is very much an act at time. It's all like a complete and utter mask. But I do love that, like, she in her own way does not bring down others, while Vespa is still very much trying to deal with his own trauma and bullshit. Though he's very much an asshole at times. You can't quote... He's an absolute asshole, but at the same time, I can't quite blame him, you know? No, he doesn't get an excuse for threatening others' lives. He needs to learn how to talk, actually just kind of talk normally. He's very much... You know, the best way to describe him is very much as a rabid Doberman who does not know how to communicate, nor actually emotionally communicate. Well, Ezra is just the golden retriever who's deeply traumatized, but still, like, is, like, very much enjoys being too happy-go-lucky and suffering in her, and just kind of, like, lamenting her own trauma. Very much the two sides of the different trauma coin, basically. Violence and putting on a mask, basically. Also, of course I use Firefox. I'm not using Google. Google sucks. That shit eats all my RAM, as well as basically just, Chromium. Firefox is the gateway to LGBT Linux. I'm not gonna ever use Linux. Fucking, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna take back the never part because Windows 11 is slowly going to hell. I might have to switch. I don't want to. I don't want to have to learn all the Linux stuff, but like, oh god, Windows 11. Oh god. Our options are Windows 11 with vibe coding and the new... We're being forced to update because they let, like, that horrible, like, security leak go through. And instead of just giving us, like, an emergency patch, we have to do the full update, which sucks. Yeah, I got Linux handheld and added custom firmware. I would need a fucking expert of Linux to walk me through everything. And also, there's just a lot of things that don't support Linux that sucks, and I don't want to have to, like, figure out all the emulators and, like, all that shit, you know? Yeah, I think that's, like, the one downside of it, basically. SteamOS is... Oh, yeah! Have they released that yet? I remember Steam talking about releasing their own, like, kind of, like, Linux stuff, their own, like, Linux software. Yeah, it's basically like, it's like Windows, and it runs off Linux, but it just has like a lot of the kind of Windows support, right? Or I guess, not support, but framework, right? Fuck. I'll have to look into it. I'll have to look into that, genuinely. That would be, yeah. If Steam turns evil, we're so fucked. We need to give Gabe Newell a cyborg body so that he can live forever. Can we please, like, upload him to the... Can we just upload his brain to the SteamOS? Just put him on a computer. We can't let him die ever. We need to have him be a fucking... Oh my god. No. I don't think... No, I wouldn't say Gabe is a corpo. Not quite. They're like they're very much a small company that is like... That is not even publicly traded. I couldn't consider that a corpo. It's a company, but not a corpo. Yeah, exactly. Every corporation is evil, but they're a private company. Don't they only have like 50 people or something like that? They are very much a tiny company. Hopefully, whoever he passes on to, like, has the exact same semantics. Not really. Not really, knowing that Steam has basically not done anything to fuck over its, like, user base compared to every other company. They're the only good company at this point. And they have not... Like, I'm trying to think of anything they've done, and they haven't really done anything. The only, like, thing that is, I think they basically did a thing where anyone could get anything they want from, like, CSGO crates and stuff, so like people lost a lot of money, but like otherwise they haven't really done anything, and even then that kind of messes with the market, but it made it better for like player base. So like I can't think of like anything they've done that makes them evil. Steam's best features, they don't do enough shit to criticize. Yeah, no, I can't think of anything. Literally every company's trying to, like, make them do shittier practices so they can then be regulated and also give them more money. Like, it's actually very funny how basically they don't have, like, any of the inshitification of other companies, so we now have governments trying to force them to shitify their company. Like, aren't they trying to, like, isn't, like, the US trying to, like, force them to, like, basically track people? And also to, like, verify people's ages. I think I remember hearing something about that in, like, another... Was it the US or another thing? I think it was something like that, basically. I know they're getting sued for monopoly. We're getting off track. This is a reading stream. Sorry. We went down the yapping rabbit hole. We'll drop this topic for now. Sorry. Eto. Bleh. Perhaps Vespa's right. Maybe we have gone too insane from what we've seen we went through during that time. We react sensitively to small things. We're prone to waver under delusions, and completely nonchalant towards cruelty. I've committed a sin, and I must be punished for it. As did Ezra. As did the city. Sir, we're ADHD, the fish slam. You're right, ma'am. You're very much right, ma'am. But I don't want Vespa to set foot in this territory. He has good heart. He has a sense of justice in his mind. The thought I had this day became one of my few wishes. I shook off the stray thoughts shortly after. We walked in the mist for a while without speaking, and we then arrived at the site where the workshop in question should be. What a mess. The scenery littered with corpses came into our sight. It's hard to tell if they're fixers or syndicate members. I placed my smoking pipe in my mouth. Among them, dark blue coats and yellow garments attracted my eyes.
It's the ZWI, the association that specializes in public security and protection. Unidentified bodies accompanied by those ZWI fixers. I should investigate the scene further. My lips firmly held the pipe. Chapter 36, The Bullet. Oh god, are we about to get... Oh no, is Ezra about to get shot? Oh no, I don't like I don't like this. The text of it rotates, digging into Ezra's chest ever so slowly. Are the Thumb gonna fire on us, thinking we're with the ZWI, maybe? There are bullet holes in some of the corpses. These bodies are in the attire of the ZWI Association, and I suspect that they belong to a fairly eminent section. I searched the body of one of the ZWI Association fixers, looking for something a fixer would carry. I found a fixer license in their inside pocket. It says they're from the Section 3 of the Southern Branch of the ZWI Association. Just as I predicted. This regular ID card proving one's status as a fixer is what tells them apart from the Syndicate members. If someone fixes and solves a problem for a price without a fixer license, you have yourself a syndicate. This is the line between us and them. I inspect the bodies next. A bullet to the chest punctured their hearts and went straight out the back, and all of their faces were contorted, tears streaming. Oh. Oh, a thumb member distorted, isn't it? Also, so basically... I will say it's really interesting how the syndicates are very much portrayed as kind of just like straight up criminal gangs. Like all the big ones are just straight up criminal gangs. When they're basically just kind of like fixers, they're just unregulated. Though I guess that makes sense, knowing that like the actual fixer associations are basically the horrible side of corporations. Because most of the time, as we've seen it, if any of you played PM games, fixer associations will abuse people, will throw you away at a moment's notice. They abuse contract law, and they don't... Like, the ZWI Association doesn't actually care about the people they're protecting unless they're outside of it, unless they're on the inside of a nest who paid it. So it's just like, ew. I guess, yeah, I guess it's more of the syndicates are supposed to... I guess are just kind of like supposed to like kind of show the two sides of like criminal unregulated gangs and that. I will say it's very. That's probably why. Though I guess it kind of does. They decided not to show as much black and white with or gray in it. But or they're kind of black and white, and like the syndicates are more criminal, and then like that is just kind of like corporations, and there's not a lot of gray in between. Like, it would be interesting to see a syndicate that actually kind of just acts like a fixer association. They just kind of like duke it out with fixers at times, I would say. Ezra, are the thumb bullets powerful enough to penetrate the coats of the Section 3 of the ZWI have with such ease? It's possible in theory, but this case is kind of iffy. Bullets used by the highest of higher-ups are super expensive and powerful, so they could make a hole in those coats. The thing is, it's unlikely for such superior personnel to be in a place like this. I gave a light chomp to my smoking pipe. Could this workshop be a place where bullets for the top brass are manufactured? Well, all the workshop owners said the ammunition of the Thumb are produced at Thumb HQ and kept under strict management when I asked them. Ezra said with a puzzled look. I searched the coat some more. I see. The scratches on this coat, and the bullets scattered on the floor. I picked up one of them. Is this bullet the kind used by the Thumb, then? It is. Vespa gave the answer instead. I ruminated my pipe. Let's see. A battle broke out between the ZWI Association and someone who took the Thumb's bullets. However, those bullets were not responsible for the death of the 7 fixers from the ZWI Section 3. Detective, the other corpses don't look like fixers. Maybe they were part of the Thumb subsidiary syndicates guarding this workshop? I walked towards Ezra and glanced at the bodies. Their limbs were lopped off by large weapons. This is the ZWI Association's work. Their enormous swords have caused this damage. The ZWI Section 3 and a Thumb-affiliated syndicate had a fight. This is why I came out on top. But
Right. There was someone else. I let some smoke seep out of my lungs. Whoa, looks like we got some new faces here. Judging by your appearance, are you fixers on a request? A voice came from the mist. It's the voice of a young male. You must be the one who killed the fixers from the Zwei. A man with ammunition capable of penetrating the coat worn by Section 3 of the Zwei is a considerable threat, even for Ezra and Vespa. We have to react immediately. He could see us through the mist. He has us at advantage in terms of sight. Ezra? She nodded and put on the gauntlet of the Wind Valley workshop. Gale Fist! As she lunged her fist forward, a strong gust of wind cleared the mist in its way. Vespa threw his yellow harpoon without delay. It took a little time for the mist to obscure our sight again. It's a hit. We walked in the direction of the moan. Excuse me, isn't this rather harsh? You can't just pin a metal stick into a stranger's thigh without asking. I shouldn't let my guard down. He might not be alone. I exhaled a red breath. The smoking pipe morphed into a sword. Are you the one who killed the fixers from Zwei Association? I did. I had no ill feelings towards them, but they were getting in my way. The way of you taking the bullets for yourself? Exactly! I'm the marksman of the mist! More ammo the better. I hear the voice right in front of me. I gave Vespa a look. One of us has to turn his flank. Ezra, be on your guard. Vespa, disarm him, but don't hurt him too badly. Vespa jumped sideways and disappeared into the mist at once. Ezra and I kept advancing forward. Ew, are you also here for these pieces of metal? Ezra? She extended her fist once more. As the mist cleared away, a yellow trace swept the floor. Vespa seemed to be going for the legs, and something was cut by his blade. It's a decoy, he spoke in a low voice. I knew it, so you were! An old radio was in front of us. I bring enlightenment to people. You probably think you're wandering into this mist, like most others. What is truly lost, though, is the mind. A voice came from a distance. Ezra shoved me aside forcefully. Ezra's movement stopped right as she pushed me. It's not that she got knocked unconscious or anything. She ceased motion in a literal sense. I'm the marks in the mist. Hold still there, please. The voice is coming from multiple directions. He probably has more loudspeaker devices, like the radio placed here and there. We can't specify his location. I'd at least try to estimate his position from the trace of his bullet. But our view is too badly obscured for even that. He has us at a complete advantage over us. I don't see enough discussion going on in this day and age. The epoch lacks deep conversation. Nobody likes that kind of stuff because they've lost their ways. And you can see through the fog? I shouted in no specific direction. Yep, I can see you clear as day. The mist is merciful to those who haven't lost their way. Way, he says. He's the type that talks a load of nonsense philosophy. Tears are falling from Ezra's eyes, who is otherwise perfectly motionless. On closer inspection, I see a long bullet spinning in front of Ezra's heart. It rotates, digging into Ezra's chest ever so slightly. I guess it's too much for the big yellow-haired fellow to endure. I'm sure it's tough for anyone to endure. We are fixers. We're investigating this place because we were requested to bring back bullets that belong to our client. That's all. What kind of windmill tilting to fetch bullets involves harpooning people and trying to chop off their ankles? What happened to the good old way of fixers? Are you people supposed to recite some fancy creed a la chivalry or Bushido? Will you let us go unharmed if we forfeit our search? Nada. What do you want? First off, tell your other pal on the prowl for me to cut it out. He's terrifying. I can't move a muscle. Vespa, stop. I shouted out to the air. I presume he's speedily scouring every corner of the area right now. What do you want next? I won't make it long. You will accept this bullet instead. I'll put a break on the one that's digging into the heart of that yellow-haired lass if you do. I'll accept it. Are you going to be okay with that? Vespa appeared next to me and asked. I nodded in response. An outstanding attitude. You have managed to withstand my bullets so far. Tears are still flowing down Ezra's face. The Section 3 fixers died shedding tears. These signs make it evidence that the attack is of a psychological nature.
Whether it's a distortion or a psychomint user, meaning that this won't be a test of physical endurance. It's going to be a matter of willpower. You look like a smart cookie, but you know that intelligence and strength of will are two different things, right? His words echo from all over the space. I hear the sound of a bullet being loaded into a gun. I can hear whistles as well. I gave Vespa a look. This is the one and only chance for us to trace the bullet back to its source. I trust Vespa to know the meaning of my sign. Good. Good. Stay there. Stay right there. I was surrounded by darkness. Why is it dark? It's because my eyes are closed. I open my eyes. In front of me are a group of people, donning dark coats and slaying others with their blades. Their shoes clack on the floor in synchronized motion as they march on, cutting down whatever stands in their way. People resist in vain with edged objects before their assailants. Then their tools of self-defense are cut through. Curved scimitars mow down victims like scythes reaping crops. I look down at my body. I'm wearing the same black long coat as they are, except mine has a special... accoutrement? Oh yeah, that's accoutrement. My brain froze for a second trying to read that. Accoutrement added to it. I looked around, a massive and antique gallery. The marble floor, drenched in blood, makes a vivid contrast with it. A one-sided massacre. I moved in my hand to place it on my forehead. However, it touched a cold mask instead. I'm wearing a mask. Upon being touched, it shows the personal information of the people in long coats, such as their names and age. I rubbed the mask again to turn off the display. Is she getting sent back to her trauma of the war? Because this sounds like the Utjout mask, doesn't it? Pretty sure that's what this is. Huh, so yeah, so now we know that the mask actually had like a ton of actual like tech to it actually, and like has readouts and everything. Huh. On top of being like one of the tankiest MFs in the series for like special forces, they also got like really cool tech, it seems. Someone approached me. A person in a dark long coat wearing a golden mask with the symbol of an eye came to me and spoke. Captain, we secured Eunice's family. How many are there? 4, ma'am. There could be children among them. My moral judgment holds no meaning. However, I must act according to Deus's will. There is no need to bother informing myself of unnecessary details. I didn't ask further about the family members. Their fault is that they were an obstacle to the path Deus pursued. That is enough reason. Slaughter them. I am Moses. I am the captain of the Utjout. Oh boy, we get to relive her trauma now. Actually, but first we have ads coming up. So I'm gonna send y'all into ad hell for 3 minutes or so. We will be back in for about 3 minutes. So go get some water, go to the bathroom if you need to, or anything else of that nature. Food if you need to as well. Take it easy, and I'll see you guys in about 3-ish minutes here. Bye-bye. Alright, sorry for that. Wait. I kind of just grabbed a little, like, beef jerky thing to snack on, so I was a little bit later. wait, oh my god. Wait, compared to the ads, I can speak very well. I'm a little ooped sometimes, just a wee bit. Now we're on chapter 37, Noise. So now we're actually going to learn completely what happened with Moses and what sin she's actually paying for. Not us for real is crazy. Wow. Mean to me, Island. Also, welcome back, Lada. Hi, Moses. Good job as always. DS, are you satisfied with the outcome? Mm-hmm. All thanks to you, Moses. About this last mission I handed. They were actual syndicate members, right? Is it really necessary for you to know that much detail? Frigid eyes. I suppose not. Right. I like your eyes so much, dear. Followed by an innocent, cheery smile. You've done a good job today, so let's go out and treat ourselves to some nummy food. Dias raised me and gave me a chance at life. I was an abandoned child. Dias was the one who saved me from desolation. She looked after me and educated me. Dias told me to think of her as my older sister. I wish to make her dream come true. Lovely. Wow, yeah, no, literally groomed into the perfect, like, child soldier. And then just raised to be her tool and everything, basically. Like, even treating her very much like a child. Even, I think, because she is an adult this time. Fucking nummy food is crazy work from Diaz. I am immediately uncomfortable with with the one or two, like, kind of, like, ship art I've seen of these two before. I am immediately now completely uncomfortable. Because I did not know this part of the story, and man, genuinely fucked up as hell. Who is this child, Elmeth? She will be the 42nd agent of the Uchout. You've brought me a useless piece of meat. It was by Lady Dias's recommendation. I suppose the child was pushed here. Fine, I'll teach her. Are you gonna train her yourself, Captain? If it's what Dias wants. I'm not sure what Dias's intention behind getting a clumsy kid involved in our work are, but I don't question her. However, Dias is my light. Lovely. Oh, that was Ezra? Damn. Moses really called Ezra back in the day a useless piece of meat and clumsy. Damn. Hey. A dull tone, an attitude that utterly lacks politeness. What is it, Ezra? Isn't killing our enemies all we have to do? Do you have questions about this job? I heard that work here is all about beating foes to a pulp. You also ought to read books and study. I don't need stuff like that. Having a towering physique for her age, the kid said she's a good fighter, if nothing else. The augmentation procedures she received are apparently expensive and procedure. What is your weapon of choice? I'm good with any. How arrogant. You have that much confidence in your own body, huh? I bet I'm stronger than a shorty like you, at least. Ezra, you're so stupid. We love her, but God, she's so dumb. The oopid child. I promptly smacked her in the face. There are few virtues that people who shed blood in this business must respect. Ezra swung a fist at me right away. The powerful haymaker audibly ripped through the air. However, it won't reach me. I kicked her calf in response. She went down on one knee. Wait, did she just shin kick? She fucking just shin kicked Ezra in the leg. Oh yeah, no, that's fucked up. That, oh. Oh, if any of you have ever seen a calf kick, like, oh God. So many people go down like fucking spaghetti when their legs just completely crumble.
Damn. Fucking Moses. The difference between Moses and Ezra compared to how they are now, it's like I'm just like kind of just taking it in right now because it's absolutely crazy. A plethora of procedures are viable out there, such as augmenting tattoos, nanotech, muscle-enhancing drugs, and prosthetics. I don't know what kind of extraordinary augmentations you have. Ezra stood up and performed a roundhouse kick, aiming for my head. I effortlessly dodged her attack and nailed a fist in her chest. The kid winced. But I struck your weak point using less than half of the energy you spent, making sound judgment depending on the situation, whether you're a fixer or a syndicate crook. Money won't solve all your problems. I pointed to my head. The head is your most valuable asset. When you think things through, you'll find opportunities to grasp, even in the most perilous of situations. So I have a question. So if she was this strong, how is she only a grade 5 fixer? Oh my god. Did she, like... I guess she might have let herself go and kind of, like, maybe she got rid of her augmentation? Because she's basically now, as strong as, like, the average citizen. I'm trying to... it'll probably be explained. I'm trying to, like, think of it now when it'll probably be explained to us. I probably shouldn't be thinking about it as hard as I am, but I think it's good. I guess probably something happened during the war. The war type shit. Ezra jumped at me, and I tripped her up. She fell on the floor with a loud noise, and remained calm. The head must stay cool at all times. Unable to contain her rage, the kid began throwing punches at random, left and right. Each time I dodge, an unsuspecting table or wall ends up taking the blow. Besides, she swung her fist at me with all her might. The clenched fist fiercely draws near me, causing a shrieking wind. I cannot get out of its way. I have no need to, rather. I am stronger than you. I stopped Ezra's fist with a single hand and gripped it. I crack. I could hear the bones in her right hand break. I'm teaching you what you need to know to become a proper member of the Utjout. Do you understand? Still indignant, the kid was shedding tears. And next time, call me Captain. God, Moses was an absolute asshole. Oh my god, is that what happened with Otis? Did she kind of like flip that switch, seeing another member of the Smoke War, basically? Especially one that was such a mirror to her. Oh my god, that's exactly what it is. Like, it's not even like a minor mirror. This is like a complete and like utter mirror to Otis, huh? With just the way that she was. Captain, are we fixers? Ezra asked. It seemed all the studying gave her sharp insight. We've all started out as fixers. I looked it up and found out that Utjout is registered as an office, and I saw that you're listed as Tweeter instead of Lady Diaz. She acts as a client giving us request. Massive office serving one person. That is what the Utjout is. But in my opinion, what we do is... Your opinion matters little in this topic. We would seem no different from a syndicate in the eye of the unaware. Then what's the point of the line fixers are not meant to cross, Captain? We cross that boundary all the time. I heard that fixers are free to take any request, though it's mandatory to report the results to the HANA Association. I nodded. HANA Association reviews the job the fixers handle. It considers promotion or demotion based on these evaluations. We are a grade 1 office. If that's the case, why won't the HANA Association demote Utjout, let alone expel it? The wealth Diaz possesses, her unctuous way with words and her connections, everything revolves around Diaz. Ezra's eyes were opened, same as the doubt I feel. Ezra knows that something is off about our job. A fixer isn't supposed to kill a civilian who's unwilling to fight. Oh, but they do it anyways. They all do it anyways. And even if they were to get in trouble for it, I think probably DS has more than enough money to make that shit disappear instantly. Oh my word. DS does not care about such rules. She exploits and eliminates anyone in her way, civilian or not. I get my hands dirty for her sake, because I believe in DS's dream. DS's dream? For the sake of that dream, the unstable trip down memory lane accelerates and fragments. Noises and cries fill the reminiscence. The sound that calls me, the voices that resent me. Sorry, 1 second. I actually just got a message from someone real quick. I gotta respond real quick. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, yeah, now I'm back. Sorry about that. The voice that resents me. Moses, I brought new work for you. And a strawberry cake, too. Okay. What is it about this time? DS brought a stranger with her. A person with gray hair and green eyes. Oh, is this Han Jun? Hey, why don't we try something huge this time? What is it now? I bet it's another odd job. It's a war? What are you... But this is necessary for me to become a... You're on my side, isn't that right? Yes, this must be done for the sake of all of us. For you and my mentor. The person next to DS says mysterious things. Even I can tell. We're no fixers. We're just mass murderers. Okay, yeah, this is supposed to be, like, nearly untranslatable, because I have no idea who's talking half the time now. Wait. Like, I'm trying to, like, just kind of figure out... I'm guessing this is mostly Moses? Did you want to become a fixer? I wanted to dream the same dream as her together. I wanted to take that path. So this is like a mix of Moses talking to Ezra and Diaz, I think, and this mysterious gray person. Your eyes are precious to me. They always have been. You're my most precious. You think of me and us as tools and nothing more. Captain, this diversionary tactic launched with the help of ArCorp will be vital for the success of this operation. Noted, Heejun. Oh, and it's jumping to now Heejun and, like, the planning for the actual battle, I'm guessing? Is this what happened? I'll be spilling yet more blood in the outpost amidst the war zone. We set off once again. All of this was an experiment. You wanted me to see all these detestable things. Ezra, Heejun, I'll save you. I'll save you too if it's the last thing I do. Captain Moses! You know what, Moses? I aim to be the head. To reach those heights, a pair of wings would be needed. Oh. So basically everybody this entire time has been a sacrifice for DS to become the actual full-on head of the city. Her dream is to be the one pulling the strings and everything in this city. For what I've seen, that's a horrible idea. She is not a good person. A pair of wings would be needed. You are my dear eyes. I screamed. I won't be your eyes. I opened them. The bullet fell from my forehead and hit the floor. Vespa, I quietly muttered. A yellow light flashed in the distance. So they did a joint operation with ArCorp at the rule of Diaz. Moses seemed to have acted out against the rule to save people, and she's being treated as the one who caused everything, which she technically was, but it was under Diaz's orders, and then she acted out from behind them.
That's probably why Ezra likes her, but Hani Jun wants to nothing to do with her, probably. The marksman of the mist. Even though he has no mouth, I can almost picture one jabbering away when I listen to his babble. Okay, so my voice does fit. I did choose the correct voice of him being an annoying motherfucker. Not bad. You actually withstood the test of my bullet. The marksman groaned as he spoke. Vespa subdued the marksman and made him kneel in front of me. The bullet aimed at Ezra stopped as well. She's lying next to me unconscious. A steam power rifle. It's similar to a psychoman as Yuria described, but this isn't one. This is a distortion, one that maintains reason. An uncommon type of distortion, usually. A distortion twists into a form suited for claiming and expressing their desires in one-dimensional ways. It's unlikely for a human side to remain, however, on rare occasions, distortions may retain their humanity and possess the capability to plan a way to state their desires. What the hell? Why does my music playlist randomly break for some reason? I have it both shuffling and looping, and for some reason it somehow just jumped to completely different music. I guess I just need to make that playlist bigger. That's the way around that problem, I guess. Yeah, however, on rare occasions, a distortion may retain their humanity and possess the capability to plan a way to state their desires. The sapient does not make them particularly more lethal or dangerous, but it does become a nuisance to deal with. They keep their desires hidden under layers of facade, similar to humans. Even so, it's still possible to figure out the cause of the distortion as their thoughts are warped and linear nonetheless. I believe there's a fine line between psychomen and distortions of this type. They're at the crossroads between making a step towards the manifesting as psychomen and staying as distortion. If I had to guess anyways. I gave a gnaw at my pipe. Where are the bullets of the thumb? The distortion who introduced himself as the marksman of the mist had a bundle of lenses for a head. Combination of a large lens and smaller compound ones. Somewhere in this mist, by the by. You're quite the impressive individual, aren't you? It's not often that someone survives one of my bullets. This man needs bullets. It seems his gun manifested through the distortion and imbues any ammunition loaded into it with his unique properties when they're fired. You have what it takes to stay on the right path. Letting him ramble on and on would be a huge waste of time. Expired a white breath. The white smoke covers his head of lenses. What's the meaning of this? The smoke of yours tickles quite a bit. I placed a hand on my forehead. Mental disruption won't work on him. Is this ineffectual against sentient distortions in general, or is he the odd one out? What are you doing here anyway? You don't appear to be a generic henchman of the thumb, judging from your noble willpower. Will you tell me where you stashed the bullets if I let this talk go on? I see you're under the impression that this conversation is a waste of your time. Why do you think that? Is it because you were ordered to retrieve the bullets? But hear me out. Chin-wagging with me will provide the most valuable expenditure of time. Oh, absolutely. It might even be a chance to realize what you want out of life. Oh my god, this is driving me insane. Even though he has no mouth, I can almost picture one jabbering away when I listen to this babble. Alright, let's do it this way then. I'll teach you one of these two. The location of the bullets, or the secret of this nest. Which one do you want to hear? What he uttered was rather unexpected. He mentioned the secret of this nest. It wouldn't hurt to hear that, whether or not it's true. There's a sizable possibility that it's not entirely baseless. On the other hand, the whereabouts of the bullets is factual information, and it's what I need at this moment. Huh. You know, I will say it's actually very interesting. Because if he actually does know, does he know about like how the library and how what they're dealing with right now? Does he know like everything? Because he does say he could see through all the myths, so does that mean he can actually see inside the library, maybe? That'd actually be really cool if like the entire time, after all the time of the library like spying on everyone, To know that there's just some random man who's distorting, able to just look into the library is really interesting to me. Oh, you city folk, alas, you shall find the answer eventually. After circling round and round, the bullets are in the water tank of the building behind you. There was a genuine wistfulness in his voice. I don't mind it as much, though. Even if it had to take a roundabout trip, I started searching for the answer when I need to. Dr. Moses? What is it? Someone is approaching. Two shadowy figures approach from the mist. Vespa reached for a sword. I slapped Ezra's cheek a few times, wake her up. Ezra, there's no time to be snoozing. Detective! Ezra threw her arms around me. The kid must have seen a past, too tough to bear. Prepare for combat. The duo revealed themselves. One of them was a person slightly taller than me, though he is by no means a tall person. He's wearing the coat of a Zly fixer. It's worn and wrinkled. The other was a dog made of steel, carrying a crude club on its back. The dog could very well be holding a human brain. Is that the one who slaughtered our fixers? He spoke to us. Who are you lot? The short, middle-aged man furrowed his brow, baffled by the inquiry. He then took a fixer license out of his coat pocket. Oh, I see. It's swapped. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, I see. I thought he was going back-to-back questions on it. Who are you lot? The short, middle-aged man furrowed his brow, apparently baffled by the inquiry. He then took a fixer license out of his coat pocket for us to see. Sly Association, Section 1. Edgar, a detective from the Major Crimes Unit of Section 1 of Zly South. The Major Crimes Unit of Zly Section 1. Some high-profile individual we have here. I misticulated my pipe. I want you to hand over that monster and the thumb's ammunition while you're at it. Edgar drew a cigarette from his pocket. Putting that aside, Vestkicker Bro, the taboo hunter is here, huh? That's a rare sight for the southern parts. Vespa silently stared at Edgar. This boy in yellow has a reputation, I see. I feel an uncanny tension in the air. Well, isn't the atmosphere rather awkward? The marksman broke the silence. So is that the culprit who killed our fixers? Edgar tilted his chin at the marksman. I maintained silence. Alright, I want you to stay out of this from now on. He's oozing with poise. What were you trying to do with those bullets anyway? If I confess to his wife fixer that we accepted a finger's request, the outcome will be thorny to say the least. We just wanted to borrow some of those amazing bullets that the thumb makes. Ezra hurriedly stepped up. Really? So you were just a group of scavengers looking for some loot to snatch in this aftermath? An electronic sound rang. What's that ring? You overheard their conversation? Edgar puts his ear to the dog next to him. Ezra gulped. His expression turned into a minor scowl. That's so. Edgar threw a cigarette butt into his portable ashtray. Fixers bribed into doing the dirty deeds for the thumb, eh? That changes the story. Wait, I am the Distortion Detective and I belong to 7 Association. These are my assistants, Ezra and Vespa. Forget that. Is it true that you're working for the thumb? It is, but our lives were on the line in that deal. Huh. This city never runs short of felonious scum. A fixer affiliated to an association taking work from a syndicate. Oh, this is troublesome. The problem isn't that we're facing a fixer from the Section 1 of an association. The association he belongs to is an issue. Starting to feud with a Zly fixer who works for the safety of the city is essentially opposing the few remaining upholders of justice in the civic jumble. Huh. That's interesting, though, knowing that, like, we've seen the Zly be as easily manipulated, too, though, as we saw in, like, Wimbus Company. But I guess that's more of just their outward appearance. I guess just to the civilian base rather than other fixers, huh? Although it would take some time, the only option we have is to follow them to the station and give our testimony of the situation. Besides, Diaz has our back. I presume paperwork won't bother us for long. I could cuff you and take you to the HQ for formal procedures, but I'm a stubborn fool. Oh, damn it, I don't have a good feeling about this. Ezra looked at me with nervous eyes and shook her head vigorously. She's telling me that our opponent is strong. Seeing scum like you make my blood boil. They say fixers do anything for money these days, but partaking in the slaughter of innocent people, led by a finger, that's where I draw the line. Edgar shook his hand, then his canine companion merged with him, transforming into a suit of metallic armor covering his body. It was as if the shepherd assumed an anthropomorphic form. Rang, it's time to bring justice. Huh. You know what I just had pop into my mind? I immediately just kind of thought of SPD. Basically, man just turned into a common rider dog in front of us, and like Power Rangers in general. You know what? I really hope we get to see something like this in like the future of the game, because honestly, this guy sounds really fucking cool. But I doubt the tech is only a him thing. Vespa! Vespa! A yellow flash clanged against flickers of an indigo hue. Oh wait, is he a color? The sharp blows make a sound that echoes to the street. Ezra, pick the sod up and run. Our best option is to lure him to where Isabella is. Hey, Marksman of Mist was it? Think you can keep him in place? I could help that man, sure, but I could also end up killing him, or the bullet might not even work. Like how it didn't work on you. It's all in the mind. I'm forced to make another choice. Ooh, yeah, now we get to see more things on Vespa. Bro, I love the wet Doberman of a man that Vespa is. Bro is so tired of, like, everything. Also, I will say, I very much like that, like, the man is a glutton, but he also, from, like, what we've seen of the bodysuit, that man is definitely not built like a glutton. I'm guessing it's just the case of his augmentations require a lot of food. I'm guessing. It also could just be his vice, knowing that it might just be his vice, if anything. Yeah, age 24. He's 24? I guess, bro, poor guy. He does not look 24. He looks like a tired office manager. Look at this guy. That's 24? Bro looks like he's in his 30s or 40s. That's not the correct measurement. The localizers messed that up. 193 is like 6'3" if I remember correctly, because I remember I got measured in centimeters before. Yeah, that's like 6'3", or I guess it does say around 6'4", but yeah, that's like off by an inch. Vehicle maintenance. Okay, he does. You know, that does make sense, knowing he's a good driver, that he would be into vehicle maintenance. Organizing his thoughts while brewing cinnamon tea. That. Oh my god, that sounds delicious. Wait, cinnamon tea is a thing? I have a thing I need to try now. I need to try cinnamon tea. That sounds honestly delicious. Driving and tracking. Yeah, he really is a Doberman, huh? Goes fast and really good at tracking. January 24th. New Year's baby. Yeah, foodstuffs, clothes comfortable for agile activities, cinnamon, and cars. Huh. Also, he's a man of 3 C's. Clothes, cinnamon, cars. Dislikes cacti, syndicates, some in particular. Does he hate cacti because it's similar to himself and the fact that he's a prickly bastard? Well, why is this image such lower quality than the other one? I can't even zoom in on this one. Oh wait, I just realized the author. Oh, it's all made by Han Hee-jun, huh? That's interesting, actually. DS age unknown. Yeah, she's gotta be old, at least, knowing that, like, she kind of basically took in Moses as a child. Same with, like, Ezra. So she's gotta be in, like, especially knowing that Moses is a bit older now, she's gotta be around, like, her 50s or 60s, maybe, if I had to take a guess. Yeah, we don't get any information on her. Collecting vintage tableware, making punch cards to play with her prized music box, huh? Interesting. So yeah, even Honey June doesn't know that much. Eloquence is her speciality. That doesn't sound right. I feel like it's more the sound of music boxes, the color of gold, and I'm guessing Moses dislikes dissonant notes, the sound of antiquated machines. But she likes her music box. That's strange, isn't it? But I guess it also makes... Oh, she doesn't like the head. Oh, does she not? Oh, she doesn't like the dissonant rules of the head, and also the fact that the head is an old machine, probably. And it's so ineffectual now. I'm guessing that's why.
I will say that is very interesting. Chapter 39, Edgar. It'll be wonder what's gonna happen in this fight here. Ezra and I we're still running. The thunderous roar of our pursuer won't get any quieter. Despite our best efforts to escape him, this struggle is filled with the sounds of building walls on the collapse, the sound of swords cutting through the air, and the screeches of metal chafing against one another. Edgar is chasing us, and Vespa is slowing him down. Look, have you still not made up your mind? Just what is the hesitation for? You may be bold in the face of major occasions, but you're quite the reluctant one when it comes to the little things, the marksman of the mist says to me, being carried on Ezra's shoulder. This is not a little thing at all. Edgar comes from the Sly Association. Anyone with half a brain in this business knows that there are boundaries a fixer shouldn't cross. They're what differentiates you from a syndicate crook. Violating these rules will result in demotion, or worse, disqualification from work. However, if we murdered a fixer from Section 1 of the Sly Association while doing some bidding for the thumb, disqualification would be the least of our concerns. We'd become the target of requests. No, I know better. But despite everything, this could be covered up as long as DS has our back. The shallow sense of justice left in me is repulsed by the thought. Though that's not it either. I'm aware that I've come too far to speak of justice at this point. It all comes down to not wanting to rely on her. DS is deeply entwined with every problem, from the cause to the solution, and I hate to see myself continually asking for help. It's a childish and personable reason. How laughable that I brought up righteousness and conscience as a fixer for my first excuse. Yeah, exactly. It's like fixers are also just corrupt as well. Not even just Moses in this case and her past. Every fixer we've seen has just been corrupted. Like I don't think some have a conscience, but like a lot of them just get drowned out in the money, and a lot just don't have a conscience in general either. I think you can hit him. You've decided at last! Anywhere in the mist, and whomever you want. Boom. With a loud noise, Edgar wound right in front of us, his armor riddled with impacts and slices from Vespa's sword, though none of them appeared to have left any critical damage. He held Vespa by the hair with his left hand. Vespa bro, you're tough, but you lack experience. I can sense uncertainty in your blade. Edgar spat as he slammed Vespa to the ground. Shoot him. The marksman of the mist pulled the trigger right on cue. The bullet was aimed for the center of Edgar's forehead. The bullet was aimed for the center of Edgar's forehead. He easily dodged the shot by tilting it to the side. Using cheap little tactics, aren't you? Said a deep voice. Then Edgar swung his fist at me. Detective! At that moment, Ezra tossed the marksman to the air and stopped the fist with both hands. Another shockwave shook the streets. Crackle, crunch. Ezra's arms broke from the overwhelming impact. She coughed up blood and fell on her knees. He clenched his fist and extended his arm once more, and attacked with murderous intent. He's trying to kill me with this fist. I kept my eyes open and looked straight into him. His fist did not reach me. Haha, anywhere and whomever you desire. My bullet circled round and round and eventually reached you! The bullet struck Edgar's head from the back. It rotates where it landed, to be precise. And just like that, Edgar came to a halt. So... Oh, my brain just froze for a second. Oh yeah, sorry. My brain froze for a second, so I'm guessing this is a distortion related to the Fell Bullet and Magic Bullet. Because once again, we got a magical bullet that seems to hit anywhere. Also, he's very conscious. Which, while different from most abnormalities, is very much in line for Der Freischultz, for example. I think Fluxschultz is the Fell Bullet's name. I think so anyways, if I remember correctly. But yeah, no, that like absolutely sounds like a Fell Bullet and a Magic Bullet offshoot, basically. Though it doesn't like mention any of his like the magical rings. This is more of like a steampunky kind of gun too. I caught my breath. It was one of the few moments in my life when I was ready to accept my doom. Ezra, can you stand up? This isn't a big deal. The first aid kit in Ezra's dimensional bag should be enough to take care of a broken arm. However, As it is a limited resource, I feel rather hesitant to use it right away. Vespa is conscious on the ground, wounded and bruised. We should sort this out. Hey, how long does your bullet keep a person frozen? That depends on the person. You, for one, overcame it with much haste and elegance. Is it okay to move a person in this state? Well, I don't see it being an issue. Not that I've made such an attempt before. Ezra can't use her arms due to an injury. I tap Vespa on the cheek a few times to wake him up. He let out a faint groan as his eyes opened slightly. Have you taken care of him? For now. Vespa got up, running his hand through his hair. He looked at me, then at Ezra, and the marks from the mist. Finally surveyed the surrounding to get a gist of the situation. Let's get moving first. I nodded. Vespa put Ezra on his shoulder and grabbed Edgar at the back of the neck. A small act of revenge, perhaps. The marksman of the mist is plenty willing to follow us without any persuasion necessary. We should get to a good place to rest before we take the ammunition to Isabella. Whoa, wait, what? What happened here? So this is just a jump cut suddenly. No, I'm not going with you! Edgar's determined shout echoed through the basement. Then his eyes met mine. Well, fuck. Both you and I are captives, huh? Damn it, what happened back there? There. Back of my head, it aches like hell. Detective, thank goodness that guy didn't die at least. Amazing. Another person who possesses a spirit of steel. How serendipitous of me to witness two people triumph over my bullets in a single day. I'm sitting on a crate, watching our tied and restrained Edgar with a smoking pipe pursed by my lips. Ezra and Vespa are waiting for my orders at the back. You haven't killed me yet, so I reckon there's something you want? First off, I'd like to be clear the misunderstanding between us, Edgar. If you mean how I mistook you for some small-time lackeys of the thumb, then you bet it's cleared. Crystal, congratulations! Killing me would be a huge step up in your criminal career. You're gonna be real famous among the syndicates. It might even give you a nice position in the thumb. I shook my head as I blew smoke from my pipe. Let me introduce myself once more. I'm Moses, a grade 5 fixer belonging to the 7 Association. My occupation is the Distortion Detective. A detective? Distortions? My work is to deal with distortions we encounter in this nest and retrieve them. We crossed paths with the thumbs unexpectedly. Thus, we had no other choice but to cooperate. Did you harm any civilians during your little errand? No. Right. Maybe you didn't. You thought you could go just be on your way after you've done helping the thumb. Bet you never stopped to think about the lives of the innocents that would be lost to the bullets you retrieved. That's what I find unforgivable about people like you. You want us to be held as accountable because of that? Why don't you consider the possibility that we might help more innocent and powerless people after the business is settled? Your accusation is just delusion. Delusion. Yeah, right. I've said similar things plenty of times in my life. I inhaled smoke. So you refuse to show any understanding for our situation. Maybe I'll give it a thought when you turn against the thumb. You seem to think you have the upper hand. You're tied to a chair, and your life is in our hands. Yet here you are, trying to negotiate with me. He's an old hand. He must have a rough grasp of our awkward circumstances. What would be your demand if that were the case? Do you want the thumb dead? Yep. Fine. Alright. Let me hear your side of the story. We're headed to where Isabella is. Ezra and Vespa are following us, carrying the bullets. So you're collecting distortions, huh? How many have you caught so far? I don't think I'm obligated to tell you that much. I know the distortions have been causing a commotion lately, but I'm not sure if you can just meet them wherever you want to. It's a trade secret. We're about to arrive at the house the thumb took over after murdering its previous residents. Isabella and her group greet us in front of the house. You're back, Miss Moses! Edgar runs at her as soon as she stops swinging. Bro just immediately going for the death shot. Okay. Edgar's metallic dog once again becomes a suit of armor that covers his body. His ironclad fist struck Bella's face right away. She was slightly knocked back, but retaliated with a knee to Edgar's stomach. The mutual attack created a bit of distance between the two.
What is the meaning of this, Miss Moses? Isabella asks, spitting bloody saliva. I should speak with her, destroying the assemblage of the Thumb's members with no room for negotiation. That's the condition Edgar offered. Seems I can avoid sinking to the pits of violence no matter what I do. Ezra, Vespa will support him. We're facing a group of a capo and 20 soldados from the Thumb. On our side, we have 2 grade 1 fixers, 1 grade 3 officer fixer, and 1 grade 5 fixer, and 1 distortion. I mean, easiest slam dunk of your life, I feel, honestly. I mean, just single-handedly, just give the bullets to your distortion pal, and he'll do perfect work. Like, I can't imagine he would suffer. Because it's like, basically, because I guess maybe the capo would be fine. But otherwise, I can't imagine he would struggle too much, right? Yeah. Edgar, I look at the first comment I just see is Edgar was low-key, right? Yeah, he's 100% right. But once again, this is the city where nobody really has been allowed to reflect on their deeds, because basically their choices were death or to work for the Thumb. You can't quite blame them as well, kind of thing, but then you're gonna have a mark of the Thumb. There's no winning in this situation. But now that Edgar did roll up, they do have a solution, which is throw hands. Especially since basically he also has that indigo hue. We got basically 2 color fixers. Or, well, bordering color fixers anyways. To bring justice. Vespa, you're free to brandish your sword with no constraint this time. I've been waiting for this. Vespa nodded. I imagined his sword was held back by worry when he was fighting Edgar. The boundaries of a fixer are no concern against the Thumb, however. Vespa drew his blade and charged the soldados without hesitation. We have their ammunition, and as such, they're devoid of the means to stop Vespa and Ezra from approaching them. Edgar's in a scuffle with Isabella. Isabella's brass knuckles collide with Edgar's steel fist, creating noise and sparks that distract my senses. Edgar should be able to handle Isabella on his own if we keep the soldados occupied. Problem is how 4 of us are going to take on 20 of them. I can imagine it's not that hard to... Because once again, just give the bullets to the other guy. You got the bullets. He should be able to, like, single-handedly take out all the soldados. Because, like, especially with the Syndicate, knowing the Syndicate of the Thumb is, like, all about unyielding, like, loyalty. And not really thinking for yourself and acting out of line, basically. So I can't imagine they're all that mentally strong. Because, like, all the Syndicates have a really big mental crutch in the city anyways, where they don't have to think about anything. Like, the Index straight up doesn't think, they just do what they're told by the Indexes. Middle is you follow the Book of Vengeance and work for family, basically. Yeah, just like, all of them just kind of like are unquestionably doing their own thing as a crutch. Like, the Ring just pursues art. They don't think about anything they do, they just think about what they can make art of. So I guess the Ring is one of the weaker ones on that one. Ezra, we'll take on 3 and leave the rest to Vespa. Got it, detective? I bit my smoking pipe. What I can do is let out 3 forms of breath. Lending a hand with the red breath won't do much against a single soldado. The other options are white breath and violet breath. Breaking their psyche or tying them down would be a more effective approach. Time will solve this problem. I let out a violet puff. The pipe assumed the form of a whip. I lashed it at 2 soldados running towards Ezra. How well I can wield the whip is irrelevant. What matters is the mental image. I have to picture how I will bind them in clear detail. As I do, the whip wraps around the victims, and purple thorns dig into their skin. Ezra, now! Okay! Ezra swung her hammer at one of the immobile soldados to crush their cranium. She then swung it at the other, but missed, and they retaliated with the buttstock of their rifle. It turns into a stalemate. Dragging on without either side grabbing it, gain an upper hand. Vespa seems to be struggling to land fatal blows on the foe surrounding him as well. However, this delay is exactly what we need. Anywhere and whomever you desire! The marksman of the mist has finished imbuing the Thumb's bullets. With his power, his shots hit one target after another. Some manage to react,
but the bullets take a tortuous route and find a way to get them regardless. One by one, they cease movement, and the last bullet struck Capo Isabella. That's what got me, huh? Edgar muttered. These thumb crooks are all yours to take care of now. The sound of a new bullet hole in a human. The bullets have already begun to pierce those who couldn't overcome the trial. Edgar watches as the soldados fall. Alright, I'll deal with them in my way. What about the man you call the marksman of the mist, then? We'll be taking him. Edgar made a bitter smile, then he thrust his arm through Isabella's head at tremendous speed. You know what? Fair enough. Valid crash out. Go right ahead, my friend. So, is it just me, or are those bullet holes the same kind as the ones left on the deceased crew from my association? I placed a hand on my forehead. The corpses of the Zwei Association fixers we found in the workshop were doing at the thumb. That was most certainly the marksman work. The decision I needed to make here is clear-cut. I can always procure distortions at another time. For that, preserving my life comes first. You can have the marksman, and I return I ask you to stop pursuing us. Moses, it's hard for me to tell where you stand. You're acting for a single goal with no morals tugging at you, good nor evil. You're the kind of person who would stop at nothing to reach what you want. Are you speaking the truth? Do you sincerely have no need of me? The marksman of the mist shouted from afar. I need to take care of the task he has entrusted with me. That's all there is to it. The marksman isn't necessary help for this job. My prosthetic arm emits a light. Dr. Moses, I get the gist of your current situation. It's Han Hee-jun. He's contacting me after all this time. I thought the communication system were all busted around here. Edgar murmured to himself dryly. He must have mixed feelings seeing this kind of technology, given his crew probably had a hard time requesting assistance here. Lady Diaz says she will have the aftermath cleaned up. I want you to secure the marksman of the mist. Han Hee-jun has been watching us all along. He's at least seen enough to know the context of the recent events surrounding me. He most likely kept an eye over us when we were getting chased by sweepers and we were negotiating with the thumb. I'm not even surprised. This is how Han Hee-jun works, and what he said just now is a roundabout way of meaning that we are allowed to kill Edgar. It's an indirect order from Diaz to do so. I'm not going to kill that man. Like hell you are. Ezra, stop him with all your strength. Ezra threw himself at Edgar as he raised a fist and started running towards me. She barely managed to hold him back with the imperfect psychoment manifested on her body. Her psychoment tends to be brought out in a rather heated moment, and I have to be involved in it. What's up with you, really? Why is my scroll breaking? What the heck? There we go. I don't know why I just started breaking like that. No, is it money that you're after? No, you're not motivated by your beliefs. Not the honest kind, though. Your twisted beliefs gnaw the things in your wake with your half-hearted sense of justice. You spared my wife while taking down the thumb's mook. Oh, wait. Okay, that was Edgar. Okay, I was making sure, because, like, I was also going to apply to Edgar a little bit. With your half-hearted sense of justice, you spared my life while taking down the thumb's mooks, but the sense of justice is easily broken as soon as it drags you down. Or maybe your justice was too soft to even break in the first place. You're a band of scum. There's no doubt about it. I tensely held my smoking pipe in my lips. As Edgar said, I act according to my beliefs. Atonement. Self-consolation. That is the only goal I need to achieve. Nothing else matters. I move purely for this purpose. I took out a breath and let out paleness. Turquoise blue powder covered Edgar. Detective, why? Ezra yelled at me. Thanks for pointing out something I am already painfully aware of, Edgar. I won't kill you for the sake of my scummy beliefs. Rang, it's time to bring justice again. Edgar's armor began to glow, and sparks flew off. It seems he's ramping up the power output of his armor to his maximum. Pushing Ezra away, he bolted forward. His destination isn't me. It's the marksman of the mist he's aiming for. A bolt of blue-white dashes across the street. He sprints on all fours, assuming posture reminiscent of a wolf, but he won't reach where he wants to be. The more he runs, the more the turquoise powder buries into his armor. A temporal tread wheel. Edgar's movements slow to a near complete halt. Phew, I thought you had forsaken me for a moment. The marksman of the mist descends from the building and comes running. Ezra's looking at me with tears in her eyes. You're such a liar, detective. Vespa sheaths his sword and walks to us. The situation has been handled somehow. No, I can't stop here. The lens was shattered, sending shards of glass flying into the air. The sound of it came afterward. Edgar's fist had smashed the head of the marksman. It happened all too suddenly. No one present could possibly expect or react to this. His movement unfolded before my eyes in slow motion, as if all of it was crystallized within a frozen sliver of time. A mere fraction of a second, he thwacked Vespa's sword with a backhand just as he tried to draw it. The sword was pinned into the ground along with its hilt. Then his left fist struck Vespa in the chest. Huh? This is weird. This has never happened before. Doesn't the Pale basically kill via the draining of life force? Huh. Hey Moses, what did I tell you? I said it's time to bring justice. I won't let you get away scot-free. Could this be a side effect of the Pale Breath? It seemed as Edgar stored momentum while his movement was halted. I've never encountered this kind of situation before. There's nothing Ezra or I could do at this distance. Is this your definition of justice, killing people left and right? Do you think you're bringing about justice by murdering whoever seems guilty enough to you? Oh, I do, man! Edgar grabbed me by my neck and lifted me upward. His grip is iron. It feels like he could tear apart my throat at any moment. Even this likely isn't the full extent of his strength. Ezra grappled his arm and kicks him to no avail. He won't flinch at all. Marksman of the Mist is dead! The Thumb's crook are slain. You know who we actually are, too! Oh. Fucking... I can never know with these two. They both kind of talk somewhat similarly. The Marksman of the Mist is dead, and the Thumb's crooks are slain. You know who we actually are, too. What reason do you have left, then? Butchering fixers at a mere smite? Think running your mouth will save your life? I believe I'm describing the situation as is. What you're doing at this moment is no better than a syndicate's behavior. Fucking hell, Rang, I know! Edgar threw me to the ground. I'll remember you. Moses, the Distortion Detective, and your assistant Ezra and Vespa. I'll be in charge of every damn thing you do in this nest. Man. He's kind of right, but he's also his own kind of distorted thing. And also, the Marksman is definitely interesting. He's also not a good person, but he's not evil. Once again, his own distorted set of desires. Though it would be interesting to see what he would do, kind of thing. He kind of seems to be very much about reflecting on like what on how people live their lives. Somewhat is something I'm noticing. It's very interesting to say the least. Chapter 41, Hotel Larriere. Larriere? How do you pronounce that? I'm gonna look that one up actually. What the fuck? I put my hands on the wrong spot of the... Oh my god, oh my god, I put my hands on like the wrong part of my keyboard entirely. Is it this? I think it's probably French, I'm pretty sure. It's called, it translates to the back. L'arrière? Oh, I'm gonna butcher that. I could not make those noises. L'arrière is how I'm hearing the best. L'arrière. I activated my prosthetic arm. We failed to secure the Marksman of the Mist. That's a shame, Doctor. Though it's alright. Please continue with your work. It is getting late, so you might want to look for lodging first. There is no ill will or reproach in his voice. To him and DS, this is but a small detriment. I doubt they actually thought it was a shame at all. Ezra is upset with me, and Vespa is feeling powerless. We're a complete wreck. We're walking back to our vehicle, dragging ourselves along like soldiers returning home from defeat. Whatever the case, we need the van DS gave us to retrieve Distortions. Ezra, I had to take the option with the highest chance of success. So you're gonna use that poop breath every time, Detective? No, only when it's necessary, and that was one of the cases. Still!
None of us had any other means to stop Edgar. That was the reality. Ezra was weak, even though she still had Psychoment. A power she can't fully control. Still a weak power. Vespa is silently following us, staying out of the conversation. Oh, okay, that was... voice still fits somewhat. Remember, Vespa, our goal isn't strength or vengeance. All we should do is find and retrieve distortions. And that is your personal satisfaction, I imagine. Correct. We reached our car. It's still safe and sound. It was provided by none of the Dias, after all. I suppose it's time to get back on the road of collecting distortions. The sun is setting. I suppose we ought to look for a place to stay the night. And with the funds Diaz gave us, we could even book a 7-star hotel. However, whether a proper hotel is still up and running in this nest is another question entirely. Either one of you have a place you want to stay at? Deadly silence. Ezra, give me a map of Elcorp's nest. Ezra handed me a wrinkled piece of paper after rummaging through a dimensional bag. It's a basic map that shows major facilities located in the nest. It lists restaurants, accommodations, and such. The problem is that it's hard to tell where we are in this nest. That is, if we didn't have the prosthetic arm to specify our coordinates. I tapped the arm a few times, displayed our current location, and superimposed it over the map. Excuse me, gotta get some water. We're currently quite far away from the center of the nest. Quality amenities and accommodations are easier to find near the center. Hotel Derriere, at least there's a 4-star hotel close to us. Looks like it'll take half an hour to get there by car. Even in a nest where whose wing has fallen, people still live on. Services are provided. Fixers and syndicates still remain as well. People find ways to carry on with their lives, whether by hiring fixers or submitting to syndicates. However, might is more dominant than ever in such places. When residents run out of money, the fixers will stop providing protection and leave. The nest will gradually become deserted as people begin to leave as soon as they're ready to. And there's no guarantee that someone who once lived in a nest can migrate to another nest. Each nest issues migration permits differently. For some, the only remaining option at that point would be the backstreets. I imagine the luxury of the nest life won't let them easily adapt to the backstreets. This is not a matter of possibility, though. It's about survival. It might be difficult to even find a decent place to settle in. On the way to the hotel, we face several small-time syndicates, those attempting to rob us of our cash and vehicle, those trying to intimidate us for their own survival. We treat them with blades or outrun them before continuing on the road. It's a bitter drive. I gnawed on the pipe as we went along. Yeah, I will say that's like one thing about the city is it really does not care for its people. It's very much just a system ran on human might makes right and human greed in general. And those at the bottom suffer. You try and say Diaz would probably be better, but I don't trust that. She's also just way too greedy for that, in my opinion. Here we are, Hotel L'arrière. I wonder if it's still in business. We'll find out once we get in, Junior. After exiting our vehicle in the parking lot, we headed to the main gate of the hotel. Greetings, esteemed guests. My name is Root, the manager of this hotel. Would you like to check in, or are you here to assault us? I'll have you know that our hotel is in contract with an office employing multiple Grade 1 fixers, so I just suggest that you want to stay out of trouble. We'd like to check in. May I have a look at your piece of identification from your group's representative, then? Handed over my fixer ID. The manager began to write down the info onto the guest list. Miss Moses, a grade 5 fixer. You must have come a long way from the northern side. The warp train must have cost a fortune, no? I hope you haven't brought along any headaches as serious as the distance you had to travel. You're making this long. Are you always this inquisitive about your guest's business? Please, understand. As you know, the current circumstances in this nest are rather chaotic. Do the rates include breakfast too? Ezra hesitantly asked. Yes, of course. Well, not as good as before. We still serve delicious meat pies and tomato juice. I'd like to request that the others provide their IDs as well. We used to check only the person representing each party, but as I said, recent circumstances have made our procedures more thorough. Ezra and Vespa hand over their fixer IDs as well. Miss Ezra, a grade 3 fixer, and a grade 1. The manager Penn stopped for a moment. Perhaps he realized that we might be above what his hotel can handle. It's possible that he lied about having a contract with an office. We won't cause any trouble. We'll leave as soon as the morning breaks. Trouble, hmm? You never know until the night passes, isn't that right? Oh. Okay, different guy entirely. Trouble, hmm? You never know until the night passes, isn't that right? Voice came from behind. Hotel Laurier has quite a bit of legacy. It's even partnered with the Hannah Association. Even though it doesn't guarantee immediate safety, it's solid enough to screw over the lives of fixers like you. Hotel that has signed a contract with the association. If a fixer causes injury or damage with no good reason, Hannah Association will investigate and punish them accordingly to the course of events and severity of the case. Causing a scene in a venue partnered with an association can be grounds for additional punishment. The offender may be bombarded with penalty points that will accelerate demotion and disqualification. I'm Rusk, leader of the Rusk office. I've been staying here with my crew. Vespa turned around to carefully scan the person. If what the manager said is anything to go by, this man must be a grade 1 fixer. Just did it again. Why did it do it again? Can this, like, stop breaking, please? No idea why it keeps doing it. If what the manager says is anything to go by, this man must be a grade 1 fixer. Other fixers from the office. What is this program? This is Distortion Detective. This is, if you know anything about, like, Project Moon, Limbus Company, Library of Ruina, this is, like, a book that came, or I guess web novel, that came from side project of theirs, basically. We're at the very end of it right now. I have a lot more to it, but this is basically near the end after a couple major events. We're on chapter 41 of 42. I'd recommend it. I've been enjoying this. I've been enjoying it a lot so far. Basically, so I will give like a main... I should probably give a main synopsis, shouldn't I? Basically, follow a group of fixers. Is it only the story? So no, we follow multiple different groups. Like, we start with Lobotomy Corp, which is the original corporation that causes a lot of the chaos you see in the future stories. There's Library of Ruina, which is that main group from LobCorp further going on about trying to resolve issues caused by that game. You have Limbus Company, which is a corporation following in the footsteps of LobCorp, and we follow a group of 12 sinners or prisoners in the original, like, Korean translation. And then Distortion Detective is a group of 2 that slowly grows into 4, which basically is you follow the detective named Moses, who can see the distortion of humanity, basically, where after certain events from previous games, humanity can now corrupt into these monstrous beings, which are distortions of their desires, basically. And you follow Moses, who can see them, and Ezra, who is her assistant, who used to fight in a war together. And basically they start getting dragged into events related to distortions and their pasts, basically. I would recommend it. It's very good. One thing I've always liked about Project Moon is their character writing, so then, like, this short kind of novel has always been really fun. Has been a fun read. And it's also only, like, 42 chapters, so it's not extremely long or anything like that. It's about I would say it's about, like, a medium, like, read for a web novel. Or actually, I guess it would be a short web novel, knowing that, like, a lot of web novels are monsters at times. Yeah, and if you like Distortion Detective, they have Leviathan as well, which I'm pretty sure is a web comic. Can you give me the link? Yes, I can give you the link right now, actually. Let me pull it up real quick. Now I'm going to scroll back to where I was. So yeah, this is Distortion Detective. It's both. This should be the English translation. There's also the Korean version. It should be that link there.
And then, yeah, if you enjoy this, I'd recommend the webcomic called Leviathan. And then if you like those a lot, you can start from LobCorp, which is a pretty hard management game kind of thing. There's Ruina, which is a deck builder, and then there's Wimbus Company, which is a free-to-play gacha, but that one's very free-to-play friendly. That's one I recommend. I love that one. Combat's a little mediocre compared to the other ones, but it's very free-to-play friendly, and the story writing is still pretty good. Or, heck, you can just also watch playthroughs of it as well. It's very good. I recommend the series to, like, most people I talk to. Let's see, now... Here we go. Now then, since we probably know what we could do to each other, you can entrust your weapons to me. Vesper knit his brow. Ezra held her dimensional bag tightly. Detective? Manager, will Rusk office keep us safe during our stay? Oh, most certainly. If you're not a fan of this method, I kindly advise you to seek another lodging. You're aware that people of our caliber can easily cause a ruckus unarmed, aren't you? It's still the job of the manager to do anything to minimize risk. How many rooms would you like? Three of the best rooms you've got. Here are the keys to room 501, 502, and room 519. Our staff will guide you to a unique room you won't see in other hotels. Miss Moses, consider it a special service. Why, thank you. 3 suites for the one night? That will be 2.45 million on in total. That's approximately 800,000 on per person per room. The price is more or less understandable, as it costs a fortune to hire offices and maintain contracts with associations. I nodded in approval, and Ezra paid the fee with cash in her bag. And now we'd like you to turn it... Oh, okay. He's just restating it. I was like, I for some reason thought it broke for a second. And now we'd like you to turn in any weapons in your possession, please. Vespa unbuckled his belt. Mr. Rusk, I expect things to get seriously messy if you... Oh, no. That's... I will say that's one thing. It is hard to tell who's talking at times with how they decide to write this. That would be my one complaint of the Distortion Detective is they aren't clear who's speaking at times. Sometimes they'll give you this afterwards, but other times it's hard to know who's talking at the exact moment because there's like that, and they'll just go like that, basically. Mr. Rusk, expect things to get seriously messy if you leave as much as a scratch on my blade, Vespa warned in a low voice. That's up to your attitude, I suppose. Rusk glared at Vespa with bleary eyes. Baby B, that's not how you ask people nicely, Ezra chimed in. Please take care of this bag and that pal's weapon. They're super duper precious to us. I can keep the smoking pipe, can I? I'll make sure to leave to smoke outside. Mr. Rusk, please examine that pipe to ensure that it has no capability to kill. Miss Moses, may we trouble you for a second if you don't mind? I passed my pipe to Rusk. That's an expensive-looking pipe. He inspected the smoking pipe from several different angles. I found no problems with it, Mr. Root. The manager nodded. Have a comfortable night's rest, then. And for context, by the way, the pipe is in fact a weapon, Legion. Basically, there's also one thing that is interesting about this universe. There are monsters that are related to the mind, and also people can create weapons and different objects created from the mind called egos, basically, which is it's a representation of their mind that hasn't been distorted. It's basically if they become more... It's basically a process where they can either distort into a distortion of their desires, or they stand steadfast. It's not always it's technically a good thing, but it's not purely good, because your beliefs can be something that is not quite good. It's good for the person entirely, but it's not good morally, always good morally, if that makes sense. Like, it could be a reinforcement of somebody's will to follow a being that they can't see, basically. Like, they submit to authority.
We followed the hotel clerk into the elevator. Ezra and Vespa went to their designated rooms, minus 519, located at the end of the corridor. The clerk explains a few things on the way. Breakfast is provided 6 until 9 in the morning, and... Are there any guests? There are more visitors than you might think. Many guests have checked in to stay here long-term as well. That's fair. This may be a safer option than a common residence in a fallen nest, although the price of a single night's stay will be more expensive than the monthly rent of a backstreet's dwelling. For a hotel that's seen an increase in the number of guests, doesn't seem very populated. I haven't seen anyone other than us. I guess it's because it's late evening. Anyway, here we are. Room 519. It's one of the proudest rooms that Hotel Larriere has to offer. The clerk opened the door for me, and I slowly walked into the room. As soon as my entrance was made, I'm struck by the thick stench of blood. Oh, hell. Oi! I quickly turned my head to see the door slam in my face. Enjoy your night, m'lady! Oh, enjoy your night, m'lady. A creepy voice came from the other side of the door. That social call does not bode me a good evening. I bend on my pipe to ready myself, looking into the room. Around 20 people are facing the wall. Blood vessels extend from the back of their necks and converge into one spot. An old woman sits on a leather sofa at the center of the room, connected to those 20 veins. A distortion. It's a blood fiend. Oh. Whoa. So Moses did label blood fiends as distortions? I don't think that's quite right, because yeah, they're based on an abnormality, based on Nosferatu, but yeah, I don't think they're not quite distortions, but they're not quite fully human as well. But they are human enough to exist in the city, kind of like distortions. So I guess distortions are very much human, but yeah, you get not quite classification-wise. Oh, the owner is a blood fiend. Well, that's interesting. I bid you welcome, Moses. I am Larriere, the owner of this hotel. Perhaps it is no coincidence that you arrived here in front of me. Yeah, damn it, Honey Jun. There's a blood fiend in the hotel we randomly picked from the map. He's got to plan this from the beginning, calculating a route, unless this really was just an unfortunate turn of events. I still can't help but be skeptical of him, considering his track record. Creatures of the night, vampires, blood fiends, a stereotyped form of distortion similar to merfolk, an incarnation of a hunger based on psychological thirst. Various stories of blood fiends would be told, ranging from urban legends to star of the city. I'm reminded of the once infamous Blood Red Night. And we know that one, that's Elena! But yeah, no. That's interesting, so because from what we're told, it's been labeled multiple times that they're similar to distortions, but not quite. So I guess stereotyped form does fit, huh? I exhaled a red breath. The pipe assumed the shape of a red sword, which I pointed at the blood fiend. A fascinating red hue. It's the blood imbued in it that emanates such crimson light. As the blood fiend waved her hand, the blade melted into wine-colored smoke and dissipated. Moses, could you take a moment to listen to what this old lady has to say? The woman lifted her arm and waved her hand, raising a red chair next to me. I have no choice but to take a seat. That day, ever since the pillar of light illuminated the city, the times have been changing. I held my pipe in my mouth again. And here we are at I think, yeah, this is just the holy final chapter. Chapter 42, Blood Fiends. Oh, so we're about to get a whole ass, we're about to get a monologue of the exposition on Blood Fiends. Oh, I'm here for it. The Blood Red Knight, a star of the city that made its mark a few years ago, known for randomly kidnapping people from the back streets and the nest alike, who would later be found as corpses robbed of all internal organs. Those corpses would then come to life and wander, looking for the next victim. The eastern and northern side of the city tremble in fear of her for quite some time. From an urban myth to a legend, from legend to a nightmare, and soon enough, she rose to be a star. Multiple associations and office joined forces to study the star, reveal its true form,
and ultimately slay it. Our office was part of that collaborative effort, though. Looking back, it's embarrassing to say that we contributed all. I never got to see the Blood Red Knight in person, and the closest encounter I had was the corpse of a person killed by one of the walking bodies. We were never included in the major missions. I lacked the experience as the Distortion Detective at the time. It probably didn't help that my response to the situation wasn't the most professional. Several officers tackled the menace, but she would elude them every single time, only leaving them with living corpses to take care of. Those that most likely did face her were later found dead more often than not. Alas, the brighter a star is, the earlier it burns out. In the end, Charles's office eliminated the Blood Red Knight with flying colors. After that case, I began to study more about blood fiends in my free time. I encountered a few of them, whom I managed to repel or resolve. The impression I got is that every one of them possessed formidable power. Whether or not they were of sound mind, the ones lacking rationality demonstrated explosive physical strength and tenacity, driven by raging thirst. Those with reason behave in clever and cunning ways until they're cornered, at which point they will resort to inhuman strength out of a desperation, all because of their thirst. There's one thing they strongly crave: blood. It's far from the desire for a good meal. To them, blood isn't something to satiate their gluttony. It's the crystallization of desire. They treat blood like how we treat money, only that, while money is a mean for us to afford various desires, blood is a purpose in itself. To them, similar to how humans often become conniving and vicious for money, blood fiends are obsessed with blood, and will go to any lengths to consume blood in their own ways. What worries would you actually have, other than more ways to claim blood for yourselves? I huffed out smoke. The old woman smiled a bitter smile. Maybe so, maybe so. Ever since the Pillar of Light was fired up, our family has been under a threat like no other. I can't see the word roleplay thanks to the internet without some kind of... without immediately going, huh? What? That word has been ruined on the internet thanks to the internet. Family? Is that supposed to be some kind of roleplay? We had to form a community, so to speak. Oh, sorry, one sec, I gotta answer something. Let's see. We had to form a community, so to speak, to live long and quiet lives as veins stretched into the night. We used to spend our days in peace, although there were few imbeciles such as Elena. However, after the light was cast, a colony outside of our control emerged. In other words, new blood fiends showed up? Precisely. Precisely. They're just like us. Those newborns are unaware of our rules, and neither do they know how to control their powers. Rules? Are your rules there to endorse trapping people in hotels and sucking the blood out of them? Those people won't even remember what happened the next day. I merely take an adequate amount of blood for them in return for ensuring their safety. We had been living moderate lives until we faced with this trial. The purity and pedigree of the elders are put to a test. Your distortions. I don't know about purity, but you can't have any pedigree. Oh, they sound lovely. Distortions, you say? Moses, the Distortion Detective? She who sees the twisted minds of people? How do you know that I can see the distortions? How did you expect my arrival? A good friend of yours informed me. That sod Han Hishun must have leaked it out. That fellow is more supportive of you than you might think. Anyway, that should make the conversation easier. Distortion is essentially a disease of the mind. You're nothing special. Oh, wait. Wrong voice. Anyway, that should make this conversation easier. Distortion is essentially a disease of the mind. You're nothing special. Distortions that follow a set pattern are especially plain. In the sense your type is obvious, you're far from the trickiest distortion to handle.
We're unique in that we have a bloodline. From the moment we received blood in a certain mansion, our ichor was linked, and a lineage was formed. We have lived in the dark since long before the distortion phenomenon your kind recently has been blathering on about. We've been fighting for our lives. Fight? Who is your enemy, then? Your kind, of course. Oh, shit. Oh my god, I'm being stupid, sorry. That was an absolute mess up of the scroll wheel. Your kind, of course, intentionally or not, we're bound to cross the path with fixers and syndicates due to our nature. We set up rules in order to survive. We decide to settle in each nest and district. That way, we won't have to invade each other's territories to uphold this balance. We had to put our kin to rest until the population of each district was small enough. You mean there are 24 more elders like you out there, one for every district? Yes, and now my position as one is being threatened. The newborns are jeopardizing the balance. Seems to me that your balance wasn't even that firm, if even before that, it couldn't even stop the Blood Red Knight from showing up. Ah, the Blood Red Knight. If you're talking about Elena, I concede that she was our mistake. She was an embodiment of violence. One that we even had a little success in common. I worry that more of such incidents might happen. Do all the employees of this hotel know you're a blood fiend? Only Root does. So, who is this supposed menace that's threatening your seat? Rusk. The fixer hired by this hotel? Yes, keeping my enemies close to me makes it easier to deal with them. So you're saying that Rusk is trying to remove you and take your throne. I can only see an ordinary level distortion from him. A blood fiend's eyes are red. Having red eyes doesn't automatically make a blood fiend, but the red eyes trait is an invariable part of all blood fiends. Eye color alone does not serve a definite distinction, especially since eye augmenting procedures are commonplace in the city. Most eyes equipped with combat assisting feature and emit a red hue. However, I can tell the eyes of a blood fiend apart from those. The greater the longing for blood, the deeper and clearer the red will become. Exuding a certain scent, a well of blood could be splashing inside their pupils. I could not observe such traits for musk eyes. He only reveals that side in his sleep. That might be why you couldn't see it. Oh, I see. Oh, wait, so isn't that similar to Dawn? Why not strike him first while he's awake? Were I to fatally injure him, his instincts of self-preservation would awaken his inner beast then and there. It is no use for me to meddle in and make matters worse. What's stopping Rusk from killing you right away? He isn't aware yet. He knows none of the fact that I am here or that I'm in charge of this area. Your friend told me the Distortion Detective is currently on a mission to collect distortions. I don't wish to resolve this through violence. I want you to take him with you. You sound rather reluctant to stain your hand with blood for someone who loves to drink it. Rusk and all of the fixers from their office are blood fiends. Although Rusk himself isn't aware, he turned them all into his kith and kin in their sleep. Or perhaps I should say subordinate entities, as you would put it. I've told you everything that you need to know. I'll leave the rest to the professional. The old woman waved her hand, and I was sucked out of the room, ejected into the corridor. If what Lario said is true, then the organization capabilities of blood fiends must far exceed my imagination. I'll need some time to reformulate my understanding of the modus operandi of their species. Huh. So the blood fiends are spawned from abnormalities then. That is basically confirmed in the Distortion Detective. Because yeah, if they came from before the distortion phenomenon, blood fiends must have actually are one of the natural abnormalities out in the world. Because we have Nosferatu from Library of Ruina. Though it's not clear which family they're from in this one. We know Tepes exists. Though I don't know if Tepes was born from Nosferatu, but I'm guessing they're an old family. So I don't know if there's like multiple, if they're doing the multiple branches, like like the Nosferatu, Tepes, and like, you know, if you played Vampire the Masquerade, you have a pretty good idea of what I'm talking about, of like vampire families kind of thing, you know?
But are they all spawned from one vampire is the question. It would make sense, knowing that I think it would make sense if they all spawn from a single abnormality, vampire, and then they all form their separate family branches. Knowing that there's like 26 per district. I'm guessing that's what it is. I shook off the dust from my body and stood up. At least the direction of this matter is in my hands. I can choose to neutralize Rusk. Or I can subdue Lauriera said, the lady who's one with this hotel. Wait. Oh, is that where this ends? Man, that's such a cliffhanger. No way. That's where we end? Damn. Damn. It's got discontinued because they wanted to make it a game. Oh, that's gonna take so long. I hope they're working on a side project and we don't have to wait till the end of Limba's Company. That shit's gonna go for years. But yeah, no, I really like this. I hope we get to more content of them soon. They did show up in Limba's Company, so hope we get a speed run after introducing them like this, you know? But man, this is such an evil-ass cliffhanger, I will say. Oh, I love the exposition. Yeah, I would recommend this. Even though it does leave on a horrible cliffhanger like this, I would say the story's pretty good overall. So yeah, I guess next reading stream is going to be on Leviathan. And yes, but yes, I think I will head out for now, though. Thank you guys all for hanging out with me for today and listening to me yap and read this. I hope you guys all have a lovely day. I will be gone next week, but I will be back on the May 3rd, I think is the Monday of? Or no, not May 3rd, May 4th. May 4th. Yes, May 4th, I will be back. And I will hope to see you guys all then, alright? Take it easy. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.